All right. Welcome. This is going to be the PowerPoint walkthrough. I'm here. You're going to see me in just a minute. I'm here. But the way I have my computer stationed, it's kind of a weird angle. So I'm probably going to mute my camera. So you'll just hear my voice throughout. So make sure you have your audio on because I'm going to be talking over this and sharing my screen as we walk through PowerPoint and everything. But I'm probably going to just mute my camera. All right. So here we go. I want to begin by just sort of reminding you how to download Microsoft Office Suite from MCC. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. There we go. And I posted the link of how to, what's what I'm looking for? How to retrieve your free download for Microsoft Office Suite through MCC. And I'll post that link in the visual aids assignment description as well. But just in case you forget, you could literally just go to Google and type in McHenry County College. I think you could literally just say Office download. Let's see what happens. There we go. Free Microsoft Office 365, McHenry County College. Click. And here we go. So you're at the home page here, and then you just follow the instructions, right? Download and install Office, follow the prompts, and it'll take you all of like 5 minutes to do it. I recommend that you do it while you're an MCC student because the Microsoft Office Suite is quite expensive and you get it for free here. I did it. Fortunately, instructors get it free downloads too. So I have this exact suite. And again, you could download it onto your computer and use it anytime. So make sure you download it. Make sure you have PowerPoint. All right, I'm going to go back to here. So that's how you download Microsoft Office Suite, which again includes PowerPoint. And right now I'm just going to go over one more time on how to download photographs off the internet. I'm doing my presentation. Don't ask me why. I saw a trailer for the first Blade, and I'm like, oh, I'll do my PowerPoint on that. So I'm going to do my PowerPoint on Blade 2, and I have photographs for it. And I pulled some photos already, but I haven't yet pulled my starting image, right? The photograph that I want my presentation to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And this is just going to be a reminder of how to download photos off Google Images. So I'm just going to use Google here, and I'm going to type in Blade 2. We'll do official search. Okay, so I come to the homepage of Google here after my search, and I want to go to images. Excuse me, my allergies are kind of bothering me. And then we go to tools. I think it's tools. There we go. Yep, tools, size, large. Right, we want to get the highest resolution possible. And I'm just looking over some thumbnails. Which one do I like here? I'll probably go with this. Resolution looks good, right? 1024 by 768 sounds good to me. Now, I mentioned this in class, but a good strategy is when you're pulling photos off the internet, actually have like a separate Word document open and then click the thumbnail, right? Left click. And that's going to bring you to the website, and then just copy and paste that URL in your separate Word document. So once you're done pulling everything, you could just go back to that Word document for your citations when you write up your works cited. So I'm not going to do that right now because who knows what this will lead to, and this is all sort of impromptu. So I'm just going to download this. So to download it, right click, save image as. Now this is going to pull up my Finder window, and I'm going to go ahead and hide the meeting controls because it's starting to block the screen a little bit. There we go. So it defaulted to kind of where I was, but normally you're going to see something like this, or maybe something like this. Okay, so you want to just navigate where you're saving these pictures. I created a little folder in pictures called Blade. You can see it right here. And I already have some photos here. And I'm going to add one We'll just call this poster. Hit save. Okay, so I see it downloaded here. And if I open up my Finder window again, which I'm going to do right now, and just for context, I'm using Windows, but it's a very similar process to Apple. The only difference is that I even keep calling this the Finder window because I'm so used to that. But their navigation is called Finder. So I'm just going to go to Documents here. Open that up. I can see in my left panel all these separate options here. I'm going to go to Blade. There's my poster. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here for now. So I'm back. One more thing I want to show you what you could do here. And I didn't go over this in class, but if you ever want to use a GIF, I think it's GIF, not GIF. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with GIF. If you ever want to use a GIF, you can. Please don't go overboard with that. Right, most of your presentation should just be photographs. You don't want to go overboard with animations or anything like that, or memes. But a GIF could be kind of fun, especially as like your final image, and that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull a GIF. I just want to show you how you would use it. Who knows if we even have Blade 2 GIFs, but let's see. So I'm going to go Blade 2 GIF, search. Now you treat it much like an image. So just go ahead to Images. And already you can see these little tags on the thumbnails that say GIF. So these are all GIFs. You can also limit the search if you go to Tools, Type, GIF. So you can do it that way too. I'm just going to pull a random one. I'm just going to do the first one. Great. I love it. All right, so I'm going to save this. Now notice with GIFs, a lot of times the resolution is quite low. You can see right here, it's 480 by 240. So we'll see how that looks in our presentation, but it's not going to be as high as resolution as the photos we've pulled, but let's use it anyway. So I'm going to right click. And again, I would treat this the same way, right? You should cite this as you would cite an image. But right now I'm just going to download it. Save image as. I'm going to go to Blade. And notice when I click it, it's empty because there's no other GIF files in here. Everything else are JPEGs. And if I go to the bottom, you can even see Save As Type GIF Image. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and name it. I'm going to go Blade GIF. Save. All right, there we go. I'm just going to close out of this. I might be coming back to this in just a moment, but I think we're going to move away from Google. Okay, I just want to make sure I have this here. Yes, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this. I'm just going to minimize, get out of that. For some reason, it stopped the share. Let's try this one more time. No. Okay, hold on. And share my home screen. There we go. Okay, so you should be seeing my desktop screen. I just want to make sure I'm still recording. I am. Okay, so you should see my desktop screen. I'm going to now open up PowerPoint. So you can see on here I have PowerPoint on as a desktop app on the left side of the screen. You can also find it through, typing in search through your Finder, going through your application browser. If you didn't choose to have the desktop application when you downloaded it, that prompt will come up when you download it off that link. But anyway, let's open up PowerPoint. So I'm just going to double click. Now, when you open up PowerPoint, it's going to give you a few options. You can immediately choose a template, which you can see all through here. I'm just kind of scanning my mouse through them. You're going to find more themes. I like to start with just like a basic, like what comes naturally. So I'm going to go back to the home. So just a blank presentation. And then you can change the design as you go. Okay. So before I kind of mess around with anything design related, I'm going to start with just inserting photographs, right? That's mostly what you're going to be doing. That's all you need to do. I'll offer a few other things along the way if you want to make it any more fancy, but for the most part, we're going to keep it simple. I don't want this thing to be like 2 hours long. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. There we go. So let's begin just with inserting a photograph. So again, I'm going to ignore this for now. This is actually a really cool option, but I'll come back to it. All right, so I'm on my home screen. I'm going to call this the canvas. I should really think of a better name for it, but I'm going to call this the canvas where we can actually work in. And this is the basically the timeline. You'll see as I create new slides, you'll be able to shift these around. So I'll come back to that in just a minute, but I'm going to move that back up there and delete these. Okay. So I'm going to insert my photograph. So to do it for the first one, it defaults in this sort of like title slide. And it's not giving me an option for like photos or video. But if I go up to insert, you have all these options to work with. I'm going to go with pictures, this device, blade, poster. There we go. So it came in. Now again, you're seeing some more design ideas stuff going on. Again, this could be really helpful, but I'm going to sort of ignore it for now. So I'm just going to go back. Okay, I'm going to close that. Notice when I place the picture in here, it doesn't automatically take up the whole slide, right? I'm going to click out of this and I'm going to go up to the top of my banner here. Excuse me. And this icon is basically a preview for your PowerPoint, and I'll show you what it looks like full screen. So if you click that, that's what it's going to look like when I present it. Maybe I'm fine with that, right? The white space on the left and right third here might be fine, but I don't want that. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of the preview. Oops, do that one more time, because now it popped up my meeting controls, which I'm going to hide. There we go. So I'm back here. I'm going to go to my canvas. I'm going to click the picture. When I click the picture, notice you get this kind of rectangular border around it. This is going to allow me to change the size of it. So there's a few things to talk about here. If you choose the corners, so if I do this, it'll make sure to maintain resolution, okay? But that's not always going to work. So I'm going to kind of go back to where I was. So I want to fill in these parts of the front of the panel. So I'm going to move over horizontally, these two circles, and I'm going to be able to stretch it out. Now, supposedly, if you hold down Shift and then click the box and drag it out, it'll maintain. I find that to not always be the case. It depends on the aspect ratio and resolution of the photograph that you're using. Sometimes if you do that, it's going to distort the image. So I'm just kind of letting you know ahead of time. But this doesn't look too bad. This seemed to have worked just fine. So that's how you enlarge the image. Okay, I'm going to kind of go back and still mess around with this one. And I'll mess around with some more too. What else do I want to maybe go over? If I'm going to kind of start with a smaller one, know that you can also move the image around. So I just scaled it down. If I hover my mouse around the image, you'll see you get these kind of like, you know, vertical and horizontal arrows by my cursor. If I click, hold down, I can drag the image wherever I want. Notice another cool thing that PowerPoint does is it'll tell you when the image is centered. So I'm going to kind of move it so we get that. There we go. So you can see the kind of cross-section lines. So we know that's center of the PowerPoint. I'm going to go back and make this larger. Again, I kind of want this to be the full slide. There we go. So now if I do my preview, it's going to look like that. So that's going to be in the back of the, I was going to say the back of the screen. On the screen, behind me as I present my speech. So I think that's a fine starting image. It looks pretty good. I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to hide this. Now, another thing that I kind of want to point out really quick that you might want to do. Notice all this kind of text on the bottom. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe there's parts of the image that I want to crop out. I want to take out. PowerPoint has this built in. You can crop out sections of the photograph. So if I click it, I'm going to go up to picture format. Okay, I have my mouse hovering there right now. It's on the top of the screen, picture format. You have all these different options. I don't know how many of these I'm going to go over, but right now I'm going to go over to crop. Okay, it's on the right side of the screen. I'm hovering my mouse, crop. Now notice the borders on the box changes a little bit. You get these kind of black curves around the image. This is going to allow you to crop the image. So I'm going to take it in and trim the top and bottom. And this is another big deal with resolution. If you have a higher resolution image, you can be much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Much more dramatic with cropping without losing too much resolution. But if it's a low resolution image, if you try to crop it, it's going to distort it pretty significantly. But let's go ahead. I'm just going to take it up just a little bit. Maybe I'll keep the www.blade2.com. And I just want to take out that www.publishplanes.net. I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to hover my mouse to this black line right on the border, click, and I'm just going to pull up. And you can actually see, right? Notice that gray box. That's telling me what's going to be cropped out. So if I now let go, click, it removed that part of the image, right? So now I don't have that watermark. Now, again, I still have that white space. So I'm going to stretch out the image. I'm going to click it just to resize and drag it out just to fill up the box. And something I didn't mention that I probably should have, notice PowerPoint also tells you when the image takes up the entire slide. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to resize it. And when I move it vertically, notice the bottom of the screen, you get sort of a dotted line eventually. Let's see when it comes up. There we go. You guys see it? So you get that dotted line. It tells you, hey, it's snapped to that part of the frame. So it's now taking up the whole slide. It'll do the same thing horizontally. So pretty soon we'll see it on the right side of the screen. Boom. There we go. Now, if I do my full screen, it looks like that. Pretty good. I'm happy with it. Okay, so I have my first image. I'm going to go ahead and hide this really quick. One more thing I'm going to go over just on this image. And again, you don't have to do this, but if it is helpful, go for it. You can also adjust the picture. So we talked a little bit about lighting. If let's say I wanted to brighten this up a little bit, if you go to picture format, corrections, you get some kind of plugins that you can use. So here we have brightness and contrast. Okay. So a lot of time you might not need to even kind of mess around with that, but just know that you can. And I know there's another way. I can't really find it right now. Oh, well, I guess you could just do it through there. I could have sworn there was a more specific way of doing it. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to talk through that. So those are just sort of like filters, right? Pretty dramatic changes. If you want something more subtle, just go to corrections, right click. Oh boy, now I'm messing up. Right click. Stop it. I just did it. No. I'm doing something wrong. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Let's try this one more time. So corrections, I click. I don't know why you don't right click. I don't know why I said that. You click, you can either do filters, or if you go down to picture corrections options, click it, this pops up. So now you can be a little bit more selective, right? I can look at this and go, well, maybe I want to bring down the brightness a little bit. So I'll go very small here. And I'll up the contrast a little bit. Maybe not that much. There we go. So maybe I want something like that. Again, you don't need to do that, but Just making sure I'm still recording. I am. Okay. You can, if you want to do little corrections like that. All right. Another thing I want to point out that I think is actually really helpful, and I use it all the time for my presentations, you can build in like arrows that are super helpful, and it's just really easy. So let's say like, this is a goofy example, but let's say I'm talking about the sword that he's holding. Well, if I'm talking about that, I can point to it. I can use the little laser on the presentation remote, but I could also have it just built in on the slide. And to do that, I'm going to go up to, hopefully I have this correct. I'm going to go up to Insert. Okay, I'm going to go to Shapes. So I'm just hovering my mouse over there, Shapes. Excuse me. You have all these options. I like to use the thick arrows. So I'm just going to choose, let's choose arrow. I'm trying to look at our frame here. Let's choose arrow right. Okay, and notice my cursor changed here, and I can literally draw the arrow. If I just click, drag it out, and this is going to also change the width of the arrow, right? If I pull it down, it's thicker. If I pull it up, it's thinner. I can drag out how long it is. I'm going to do something like this. Okay. Now I just created that on the image, and I can move it. Click, move it around. I can also spin it. So I'm going to go up to this little emblem up top, this little arrow that curves. So you can do something like that. Okay. And then you could always resize it. Right. But again, I'm going to keep it kind of large here. So here's my arrow. I can also change the color. Right now, notice the box. And again, it's just like an image. If I click the blade 2, my box goes around blade 2. If I click the arrow, the box goes around the arrow. So I'm still just manipulating the arrow. So I want to make sure that's what's selected. That's where the box is. I can change the color, right? Notice these presets. You can keep going further with shape fill. So the color inside the lines, and then shape outline, the color outside the lines. I'm going to keep it blue just to keep it easy. So there's my arrow, and you could include as many as you want. I wouldn't overcrowd it, but again, this is not the greatest example. Why would we be talking about the sword? But you'll sometimes want to use these arrows. They're super helpful. Another thing you can do, which again, you don't need to do, but I'm just going to go over it really quick, and something that I do that I think is helpful, is you can actually write text in the arrow. You could also do it on the image. So for this, I'm going to go to Insert. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Go over to Text Box. Notice my icon changed to this. It almost looks like a sword. And I'm going to hover it over my arrow, click, drag out a box, something like that. And I can actually type. So I can go sword. And I can move the text box. Sword. Whoops. No. If you ever mess up, which I do all the time, just go to this undo arrow, and it'll reset everything. All right, so I'm going to do that. So we know how to resize an image. We know how to crop an image. We know how to use corrections on an image. We know how to insert arrows into an image. We know how to write text on an arrow. So I think we're getting pretty close here, but let's keep going. Okay, so there's my first image. I'm going to go through a couple more. So I'm going to include a new slide. So I'm going to go up. I'm in my home tab, new slide, hit new slide. Before I do that, I just want to show you, if I hover my mouse here, you see this little down arrow. If you click that, you can choose the type of slide you want. Normally, it'll just default to a title and content. So if I click it, notice you have a title, you have content. Now for us, we want to refrain, I think I'm using that word correctly. We want to refrain from too much text on a slide. That being said, sometimes you'll want a title. So for example, maybe I'm going to introduce the director of the film, right? I'm going to talk about the director of the film. I hope I'm spelling his name correctly. Guillermo del Toro. So that's going to be the title of my slide. Whoops, there we go. That's the title of my slide. Notice when you type in the text, it sort of defaults it to be left aligned. If I highlight it, right, just click, highlight it, go up to paragraph, so in left align, go to center, it'll center the text. You can keep messing around with text, right? Look at font, different styles. My only piece of advice is keep your font style consistent, okay? I'll do that. I could change the size. Sounds good to me. I could change the color. And again, I probably should have talked through what I did there, but to change the size, you can use these two icons, increase, decrease, or just do it like this. I think I was at 72. I can also change the color. So this is, whoops, I think this is the fill. Font color, there we go, this one here. Click the arrow, I have all these options. Kind of like the gold. So I'll do that. And again, you could keep going further. I think that's all I'll kind of do for now though. Okay, so I have some text on the slide. Now I'm going to insert a photo. Now notice with this slide, I don't have to actually go to insert, right? It tells me, hey, because we know there's going to be a content within this slide, it'll say, do you want to insert a picture? Clip art. I think this is clip art. It's not telling me for some reason. Anyway, or a video. There's some other options too. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture. So I just click this icon. And again, it defaults to where I was, but just to trace my steps, I'm going to go to pictures, blade, and I'm going to take the picture of the director, which I have right here. I'm going to insert that in. So that's what it looks like automatically. I'm going to close this, but we're going to come back to that very soon. So, you know, right now my PowerPoint looks like this. Okay, it's not terrible. Just to kind of put everything into perspective, stylistically, I would get rid of this. Okay, and then also, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't fill in my entire box here, so I'm just doing that one more time. Okay, so now that's the whole slide. Excuse me, and I'm going to work on this one. Let me get rid of that. So for this slide, you know, I can mess around. Maybe I want to make this a little larger. And again, luckily, this is a high resolution photograph, so I can manipulate it quite a bit. And now I also want to make sure that it's centered. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to move it around until I get that cross section. There we go. Now I'm going to go over that design ideas, which is super helpful. Again, I use it quite a bit. Notice it comes up automatically when you insert a photo, but if you close it, if you ever need to get it back, just go up to this top tab under home, move over to design ideas, click. And PowerPoint recognizes what you're doing, right? It sees, hey, you have a title, you have your picture. Well, let's give you some options that can stylize it a bit more. And you can literally just click through some of these, right? Not all of them are work. I'm sorry, not all of them work because again, it's sort of just approximating. But sometimes you'll find something you really like. And what's nice about this too is they sometimes build in additional stuff. So if I say, here's my Guillermo del Toro picture, I have his name here, I can keep writing in text. I can put in information about him. I don't know a lot about Guillermo del Toro. Now, I'm just going to say, well, we can see it in the things that he's holding. 2-time Academy Award winner. Again, normally we don't want too much text. So again, don't even worry about doing that, but I'm just kind of showing you that you can with some of those plugins with design ideas. I'm going to go back. And again, I'm just hitting undo. So that's where it was initially. And there was one of these I kind of liked. So I think I'm going to roll with one of them. And if you ever want to see more, just go to see more design ideas and I'll throw some more out at you. I kind of like that one. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one, but notice it got rid of my yellow text. So you can always manipulate this even after you chose the design idea. Just highlight the text, go to whatever font you want. I had this. Maybe I'm going to make it a little bit larger. And then I like my gold font, which it defaulted to when I hit that. Okay, so now if I go through my presentation, I got that. I got this. Now again, it's right now, the way this looks, I think is pretty good, right? There's not a lot of text. The picture is the focus. Obviously, I'm talking through my speech and I have these slides up as I'm talking about them. As I talk about the director of the film, Guillermo del Toro, I'll have this slide up as I'm working through it. I don't have a lot of text on it. I just have his name and a photo. Okay, so I have a little checklist next to me, just making sure that I'm going over everything I want to. So we went over the design feature, creating a new slide, putting in text, choosing different designs. So we went over resizing. Let's do one with a slide with multiple pictures. So I'm going to go to new slide. Now, again, I can choose different options. And I think they have layout. Is this it? I guess it's the same ones. So I guess you could do it either way. But if I do, so I'm going to go through a couple of things really quick. So I went to new slide, and you can choose some of these that have some built in. So I can do to content. So I can put, you know, what do I want to do? Maybe I'm going to talk about production design. Okay, production design. And I could put in 2 photographs for production design. And I'll do that right now. And again, I'm not going to manipulate. I'm not going to tweak everything because, again, I'm getting a little high on time here. So I'm just going to, again, you should stylize this better like what we did with this one. But I'm going to just kind of work through this. So here's my 2 boxes that I can include content. I could either write in it or just insert, which I'm going to insert photos. So photo 1. I think I have 2 that sort of prioritize the production design. So here's 1. Now I'm going to go to this one. There we go. Now again, we know that those design ideas, right? So you can play around with that. And again, choose the one that's going to work best for you. Okay, but I'm actually not going to choose any of those right now. I can resize. Okay, so that's one way to have multiple pictures in there. I'm going to show you another way. I'm going to delete this in just a second. And just, again, just for, a bit of a tip, I probably wouldn't do this, right? Don't overcrowd a slide. Treat slides like note cards. Use as many as you need to. It's fine, right? It's better to highlight the production design in a slide all by itself so you can really focus on it rather than, splitting the frame like this. So I'm going to delete this. So to delete it, I just go to my outline here, click, delete. So I'm going to just create a new slide. And just to keep it easy, again, I just do this. Maybe, it might sound lazy. I don't know, but I like doing it this way. I just literally just put in all the photos at once. So here's my slide, and I'm just going to do multiple. So I'm actually not going to use this plugin. I'm going to go to Insert, Pictures, this device. And again, I'm just doing this as an example. So if I just click, hold, I can select both of them. I could hit Control, select both of them. So I could do 2 at a time. So I'm going to do those 2. Insert. And notice, whoops, did it do it? Didn't do it. All right, I could have sworn you could. Oh, there we go. It did. I just had that one over it, I guess. There we go. I did. Right, if I minimize, if I scroll that down, right, I have 2 pictures here that I can mess around with. Okay, so again, that's how you insert 2 different pictures. Play around with how you're going to actually space these out. But know that you can mess around with that. And again, another way of doing it is just using that template that we did with this. You could do comparison. You could write in text. So that's just another feature. But again, I'm going to do one more slide. Just again, this is not me telling you, hey, you have to do it this way. But just to keep it easy, I guess. So I'm just going to kind of play around for 5 minutes here. So new slide. I'm going to kind of do what I did with Guillermo del Toro. Do production design. Insert a photo. Okay, I'm going to mess around with this a little bit. I'll just keep it like this, right? I kind of started this style with that one. I'll just keep it. And let me change my text. I'm going to go back to see what size this was. 44. Notice when I did that, I just went back, clicked the text, it tells me right up there. So I'm just keeping that consistent, 44. Okay. So again, this was the idea that, using the full slide, if I present this, I can actually talk about parts of the production side. Right now, the audience can see the entire picture rather than it being crammed with another picture. Okay. Whoops. Whoa. I don't know what I did there. So that was just one of the production design. I'm going to do one that has 2 photos on it. I'm going to do one for Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes. And well, you know what? Let me use one of those templates. So I'm going to go new slide. I'm going to do 2 content. Snipes. Insert. We get one there. I got one here. Okay. And now I am going to just kind of mess around with it a little bit. Let's see if we have anything going on with design ideas. I'm not really liking any of them. Okay, so maybe I'll try something different. So I'm actually going to erase this. And, again, I have a lot of space to work on this canvas. So I'm going to make both of these pictures larger. So I'm going to take the first one. Take the second one. I don't know if those really quite match. This one's a little more. Now, I don't really love that, so I don't know if I would do that. Well, I'm not going to just spend the whole time me messing around with this, but maybe I would do something like this. And I get rid of that. Now I don't like this kind of weird white space. So if I click it, I should be able to mess around with the design a bit more. So we know about design ideas, but if I click the slide itself, which I have right here, I'm going to go up to design. And notice I'm going to kind of hover through some of these. You can mess around with the look of the slide itself. You can go through more options down here. Okay, browse for themes. You can do that through there. You can mess around a little bit, something like this. That kind of looks a little bit better. And then maybe I'll go back and resize that. what I did now. Again, I don't really love it, but it's all right. Well, I don't know what I did. I got rid of my designs here. Oh, I think it must have done it when I changed the overall design. Well, you know, I'm still learning everything with this too. So I'm just gonna kind of go back to everything. Hopefully reset that. So my other ones came back. Again, I don't really even like that one. So maybe I'll just do a new one here. Wesley Snipes, and I'm just gonna keep it to one photograph. And again, maybe I'll just keep my style consistent, right? This is what I've been doing for all the other ones. I'll keep it like this. Why not? Excuse me. Where's that? What's this one here? And there's 44. Okay. Again, I don't really love it, but it's okay. And again, remember, you don't even need to do this, right? You don't even have to have names. You should know the names, so you don't have to have it listed. You could just have the photo is also fine. But I'll keep it like this for now. Okay, I'm running way too long here. So I have 4 slides made. Also know that you can change the order. So maybe I want to do the actor before I talk about the director. So now in my presentation, I have this, I have the actor, I have the director, then I start talking about like production design. So you can change the order just by dragging like that. I think I had, what did I have before? I think I had it like this. So I'll keep it like that for now. Okay, so we went over all of that. What else do we have? I guess I'll show you the GIF really quick. I mean, the GIF it's just like a photo, but I'll do it really quick. I'm not going to stylize it, but I'm just going to go new slide. I'm not going to even title it, but I'm just going to go to insert picture. So go to pictures. I'm in my blade. Boom, 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 boom. Where's my GIF? Blade GIF. Double click. There it is. Now I am going to make it a little bit larger. Now be careful with GIFs because again, they're not super high res. So if I were to spread this out even more, you can already start to see it pixelate a little bit. So don't go too far. But I'll do something like this. Right, and again, I would mess around with the design more, fill out this slide. But normally, we'll see what happens, but normally as you play through, the GIF will play. Cross our fingers. There we go. The only thing that I come across sometimes is in your presentation, sometimes you have to actually like click to activate it, but it should come in just fine like that. Let's see if there's any options. If I click the GIF, let's see if it tells us anything. So I go up, I click the GIF, I go up to picture format. Yeah, there's nothing here that says anything like click for play. So again, it should just play as you go. The other thing that has is this. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you, video. For video, if you're, again, my suggestion is for the most part, don't use video. Just use photographs. But you can use a video if you want. If you do, though, just use YouTube. But make sure that you embed the YouTube link. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. If you do like a video file, like if you have like an MP4 of a video file, it gets tricky because then you have to save that video file with the presentation when you upload it. It's not great. So just use YouTube. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So again, I'm not stylizing this, but trailer, and I'm going to include the link to the trailer, and it should embed the video naturally. So I go to the body. I'm not going to go to pictures. I'm going to go to insert video. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I must be doing this wrong. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of this. All right, so I'm going to create a new slide. You can tell sometimes I make a mistake and I stop the recording and go back. So right now I'm showing you how to insert a video, specifically YouTube. Don't do like an MP4. So trailer for Blade 2. Now when I go to the box in the, just like a second ago, I probably said, hey, click insert video. Actually don't. You only click this if you're going to include your video file, right? So if I click this, and if I actually had a video file, I'll just insert it. But again, don't do that. Don't use a video file. That's what I do in class. So sometimes you'll notice, like when I'm showing you guys a presentation, I'll be going through slides, then we hit a video and the video starts automatically like that. That's because I saved the video within the presentation and I include the video file with the saved PowerPoint file. Don't worry about doing that. It's again, because you're basically just uploading this through Canvas. So if you try to do that, that video probably won't come with it. So, okay, so I'm going to do it the way that we should do it for our demonstration speech. So to do that, you're not going to click this. You're going to go up to Insert. You're going to go to Video. Click the little down arrow. Now you have an option, video on my PC or online video. You want to do online video. So now you can actually copy and paste the link. So I'm going to go do that. So I'm going to hit cancel to go get that link. I'm going to go to my internet browser. Excuse me. Oh, this already started. That's okay. Now let's see. I want to choose the highest one. This is 720. I guess that's fine for now. I'll just use, this is the one I pulled up anyway. It said HD. You know, it's not 1080p, but it is HD. Anyway, I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to go up to, excuse me, the link up top. Okay, I just click it, Control C, copy, or right click, copy. You can also do it over here. If you go to share, you can copy the link right here, copy. So now I have the URL copied. I'm going to get out of here, and now I'm back in my PowerPoint, and I'm going to do this again. So just to kind of do it from scratch, I go to my slide, trailer for Blade 2, go to content, I went to insert, I'm going to move over to video, hit the little bottom arrow, online video, click Control V to paste, or right click, paste, then hit insert, cross our fingers, boom, there it is. And I'm going to move this there. So there's my video. And again, design ideas come up. So it'll give you some options that again, you should, play around with. Excuse me. Is there anything I want to do with the video? So I'm going to go back to the slide. I'm going to click the video. Okay. And if you go to playback, it'll give you some options. The one you want to pay attention to is this. So just make sure to do automatically. So when you're flipping through your presentations, the video will play automatically, so you don't have to go over to the computer and like hit click. Okay, so that's our video. Do we want to see what it looks like? I kind of wish I went back to just the photos here. Anyway, let's see what happens. My luck, it won't work. Great. It should work. Okay. Do this one more time. Whoa. Okay. Sorry if you heard that. I don't think I'm sharing this computer sound, but if I am, my apologies in advance. I don't know why it took a second to do that. So let's try that again, because it clearly works. lower the volume. Right, so it's embedded, it's in there. And I don't know why it did that. So let's try it again. There we go. So I guess, again, I don't normally do it this way. So I'm just gonna pause it. Just hold on it for a minute. So like, I'm just gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna get out of this. Okay, so I'm gonna present my presentation. Hit present. I go through. Yes, 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 yes. Now I'm gonna go to the video. I'm gonna go to the next slide, and you actually don't click anything. But when you go to the next slide, just stay there for a second. It seems to take a moment. So there we go. Right now it's playing by itself. All right. I'm gonna get out of this. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. I went over my little slide, not my slide, my notes, and I went over everything that I wanted to. Yeah, okay. So again, just as a reminder, I went through a lot of kind of goofy stuff. At the end of the day, in my opinion, what I see to be the most effective, and what you'll see in like any of the presentations that we like I'm using air quotes here, professional presentations and speeches that we see, like the TED Talks that we see, they always use just photographs, right? Almost never do you see text along with the photographs. So I'm going to do just kind of one more here. Insert. I'm just going to pick a random one. And I can literally just stretch this out, just like what I did on the first one, to be the entire slide. Okay, so again, in my opinion, of course I went way too fast to show you that. But you can literally just have that, right? Just photographs that take up the entire canvas. Don't leave any white space. Stretch out the image, make sure it's high enough resolution, but stretch out the image to take up the entire canvas. So now you just have this on your, I almost said PowerPoint screen, on your presentation, and you can talk while this is on screen. Your audience can see the whole screen as it goes through. All right, so I'm gonna get out of there. And remember, just kind of some final things. Sometimes those arrows can come in handy. Again, for this instance, I don't really know what that arrow would be, but hey, right? Maybe I'm talking about a stunt or something, and I'll point an arrow to it. Anyway, okay, that's it. I'm starting to ramble. So I went over everything I wanted to. Now, I am gonna go over how to submit this, okay? Excuse me. So first, let me go ahead and save it. I'm gonna minimize this. If you haven't used PowerPoint before, it's just like any other document. So just go to File, Save As, Browse, Documents, or Desktop. And this will save it directly onto your desktop. I'm going to call this Blade 2 presentation. Okay. Hit Save. Give it a second. Okay, so it's saved. I can exit. I'm going to get rid of there. Make sure I'm still screen sharing. I am. And you can see on my desktop, Blade 2 presentation is saved. If I double click it, I'll open it up. Oh, this is a good thing I'm doing this live. Make sure whenever you get this, well, this will be when we're presenting, but just click Enable Content. Yes, we trust it. Okay, so now here's our presentation, right? Let's see if the trailer comes in. Yes, it did it. Cool. Okay. So again, the last time, I guess I was just a little impatient. Okay, so I'm gonna get out of this. All right, so again, there's our presentation. Now you just upload to the visual aid submission folder, just like you would a Word document. It's the same, excuse me, it's the same process. Those submission folders are open for any file type. So you just upload your PowerPoint just like you would a .doc. I'm debating on if I should go through that process. I guess I will. Okay, so I'm back. I'm on our home screen for our Canvas page. And now, right now, the only assignment submission folder that's open is the topic outline. So again, pretty soon, probably on Monday, I'll have the visual aid submission folder and the preparation outline submission folder open, okay, right during your work days. And you'll just submit it through the visual aid submission folder. But right now I don't have that open. So we're going to just kind of pretend. So I'm going to go to assignments. And right now I see my upcoming assignments, topic outline. Again, you're not, just to be very clear. Maybe I should turn on my camera. So just to be very clear, you are not turning in your visual aid through the topic outline submission folder. You're going to turn it in to the visual aid submission folder. That will be clearly marked on your assignments. But right now I don't have that folder open, so I'm just using the topic outline for the demonstration speech as an example. Okay. So topic outline for demonstration speech. Again, I'm just showing you how to upload it. Again, same process as anything else. And we're going to see that it should take the PowerPoint with no issue. Go to submit assignment, choose file, right? You're pulling it from your computer. Now I have everything pulled up here. I'm going to go to my desktop, Blade 2, open. Okay, I see it's attached. Cross our fingers, hit submit. Boom. It's been submitted. It's right here. I could even still download it. So again, same process. Okay. So I just want to go over that really quick. Again, you're not doing it you're not submitting it through the topic outline submission. You're submitting it through the visual aid submission, which will be open by next week. All right. So that, I probably spent a little too much time on this, but I hope it was helpful. My computer is still kind of weird. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, just email me. But hopefully that kind of walks you through the entire process. And that's it. All right. See you later.